A very good afternoon to everyone. And this is Anjali. And today I'm going to talk about the topic cognitive dissonance theory. This theory was proposed by Leon Festinger in 1950s. So let me proceed with the basic concept of this theory. So first of all, I would like to talk about what is cognitive and what is dissonance. Now, as the name indicates, cognitive means the idea, the belief that a person possesses, whereas dissonance means the difference. So if we club together these two words, the difference in the ideas and the belief that exist. Now, what Leon Festinger has proposed in the theory was that cognitive dissonance theory basically centered on how people try to reach internal consistency. As I said, the inconsistency or the difference that exists in the beliefs or the thought, and people want to try to reduce this internal inconsistency that exists. So he suggested that people have an inner need to ensure that their beliefs and behavior are consistent, and inconsistent or conflicting belief leads to disharmony, which people strive to avoid. So this is what that we all go through in our life, and we want to bring consistency in our, action, behavior, and thought process because it brings us into this situation of stress or disharmony, and therefore we want to, avoid this internal inconsistency. So, as I said, in the beginning, it is a mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs. It could be two or more than conflicting beliefs, values, or the attitudes. And how our actions are. Sometimes we have certain belief and our actions are different. So that also leads to the internal inconsistency, and we want to bring it to a consistency. So this inconsistency between what people believe and how they behave. So it is about the action and the belief. It motivates people to engage in actions that will help to minimize feeling of discomfort. Now people attempt to relieve this tension in different ways, such as they may try to reject the new idea or the idea which is conflicting with their idea, or they might explain the reason for certain behavior, certain action, or they may try to avoid getting new information so that that can help to minimize the discomfort that exists. Now, before proceeding to the experience, I would like to take an example from the Mahabharata. Like Leon Festinger talk about this in internal discomfort or inconsistencies in 50s. But way back in Mahabharata, I would like to quote the situation where Arjun was in front of their gurus, elders, and he has to fight against him. And he was having a belief that how I can fight against them. And that time, Lord Shri Krishna has given him the Sar of Gita, and he was being very much helpful for Arjun to listen to what Lord Krishna has talked about, and this has helped, sorry, Arjun to bring about the internal consistency. He has quote one, there was a quotation which was being mentioned in Mahabharat that मेरी दुविधा दूर करो, मेरी दुविधा दूर करो, हे जगत के स्वामी, हे पालनहारी, हे जगत के स्वामी. So he has talked about, his state of mind was very much into a discomfort because he has to fight against all his respected gurus and elders, family members, and Sri Krishna has given him certain, access to different beliefs, different thoughts that help him to fight for the wisdom and justice. So now let me proceed further. How is the experience of this cognitive dissonance? So as I said, every one of us, experience this cognitive dissonance to some degree. It can be, low, and it can reach to a very higher side. So it is important that what kind of feeling we are land up with. So As I said, that doesn't mean that it always easy to recognize. We may have certain degree of dissonance, but we may not able to realize, we are not able to recognize. There are some signs that what you are feeling might be related to dissonance include feeling uncomfortable or feeling uncomfortable. You are having your own internal thoughts, you're having internal dialogue, you're having a self-talk, and that is leading to the state of uncomfort. So, number one is feeling uncomfortable before doing something or making a decision and trying to justify or rationalize a decision that you have made or an action you have taken. So, first thing could be on the basis of the belief you are having, you are feeling a state of discomfort. Or second, you're trying to justify the reasons for your action if you have taken an action which is against your belief. Another experience could be you're feeling embarrassed or you're feeling ashamed about something you have done and you're trying to hide your actions from others. So that could also be another feeling of dissonance. Then other way could be that you are experiencing a guilt or regret about something you have done in the past. So you may have the feeling of regret also. Maybe you want to give time to your children, but because of the working hours, you're not able to give time. You are experiencing a work life imbalance. You want to give time, but you're not able to give. So that may give you into a state of guilt that you're not able to give sufficient time to your children. Then also you may have a feeling of FOMO, that is feeling of missing out. So what exactly it is, that doing things because of the social pressure, because otherwise you will be missed out of that group and you want to be a part of that group. So you may have the feeling of that FOMO. So that could be another experience of your, inconsistency that exists. Now let's come to what are the reasons, what are the causes of having this cognitive dissonance. So we can have number of reasons for, this the conflicting situation that can arise and that can lead to the cognitive dissonance. So let's discuss some of them. Number one is the forced compliance. Now, what do you mean by this forced compliance? The forced compliance means that you are being pressurized, you are engaged in some action or behavior which you are not actually in, you don't want to actually involved into, but because of the peer pressure, because of the some external pressure, some formal pressure, you are supposed to behave in certain way. So that we can say comes under the forced compliance. You actually don't want to, but you have to because of that, the it's a requirement of your job. So sometimes you might find yourself engaging in behavior that are opposed to your own beliefs due to external expectations, often for work, school, or a social situation. Now, this might involve going along with, something due to peer pressure or doing something at work to avoid getting fired. You may have the fear that if I'm not going to do that particular, action, if I'm not going to follow, I may be fired from the organization and you are really dependent on that particular, organization. So that could be one reason that you are experiencing a dissonance. Second is new information. We are having certain set of information, but suddenly a new information come, and now that new information is not aligned with the old information, and that may provide discomfort to the person. For example, like let's take a very day-to-day example of our life, that many people have the habit of drinking water in a standing position. Now if they come across with information that if you are drinking a water in a standing position, you may have lot of health issues in the future to come. Later on in the future, you may come across lot of health issues. Now, till now, the person was not having any kind of dissonance because he was not having any knowledge, access to new information. And he or she was just drinking the water in a standing position. But now he has come across and he has a habit of drinking water. Okay. So whenever he or she is drinking water, the thought may come click in his mind that I may have the health issues. Okay, so that may create discomfort to the person. So another way or second way is that can cause a person into a state of discomfort is getting information. It's like when you are ignorant, you were not into a discomfort state, but now you have the information, you have the access to the information, which can provide harm to your present way of action. So it can provide a state of discomfort. So this is what I have mentioned, that sometimes learning new information can lead to feeling of cognitive dissonance. For example, if you engage in a behavior that you later learn is harmful,